Hello and welcome to Coffee and Bonsai with Tom. Today we're going to prune Mellow Yellow. This is a little dwarf jade. It's about 2 years old. You can see it's grown really well. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I don't know, 10 sets of leaves. You can see as the longer they go, the stronger they grow. And yeah, I need to prune this thing because it is just sucking up a ton of water. I pruned the sister tree to this one. I think last week, maybe the week before. There's a video on that. And look at this beautiful yellow pot. It's a Hattori pot, a nice kind of like patinaed yellow. It's just beautiful. And look at the bark on this tree. It's really starting to get some character. And, I just need to do some maintenance pruning and maybe a little bit of selective pruning. I've got a lot of extra branches in there I feel we can get rid of. But yeah, it's well past needing a prune. Usually don't like to let it go this far, but let's take a walk down memory lane and look at the development of this tree. So you can see it here in its blue pot in the center. It's lived almost its whole life in this pot. I recently, I think this summer, repotted it into this yellow pot. Um, but yeah, you can see started out pretty small. Pretty thin, very tiny, just concentrating on, growing it out for quite a while. I have another picture here. This is about a year later. You can see it's developed, some branches. It looks a bit more like a tree. It's kind of thickening up a bit and just all clip and grow and keeping it healthy, giving it water, giving it lots of food. I keep it growing year round outside in the summer, kind of like early spring into late fall. And then I bring them inside for, I don't know, 8 months or so and go from there. And here we are about another year later. This was the repotting I did, I think in August of this year, 2024, and put it in this yellow pot. And quite a charming little tree, if I do say so myself. So here we are back to the present day. You can see it's grown quite a lot. I mean, part of the reason I put in this larger pot was to let it grow a bit, develop it a bit more. But it's thickened up nicely. And I'm looking at this, and the goal today is just to cut it back. This growth is just out of control. And so I want to tune it up, probably take it back to a couple sets of leaves, and probably do a bit of structural pruning. I noticed as I was giving it a quick spin there, I've definitely got some duplicate branches, some areas where I've got a whirl of 3 branches coming out of one spot. And I'm kind of thinking, like, if I take my hand here, kind of want it this shape. It's sort of more of a, I don't know, I think of it as an upright oak style tree. So I want it to be taller. I'll probably develop some of those lower branches on the bottom. And so that's the general shape I showed with my hand. So let's just start. I like to just kind of take it back because I know these are too long. These would all make great cuttings. But I've got too many trees, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, so I usually take it back. And, I usually go back to 2 sets of leaves, and then I oftentimes then simplify that down to 1. But it's a good way to start and a little harder on the top because these things always grow fast on the top. But you can see in a few seconds here, we've already kind of simplified it quite a bit. And I'll just continue thinning here, and then we will kind of go in and make some, finer decisions about branches to remove, duplicate branches. I don't have so many crossing branches anymore. I mean, you have usually, I don't know, maybe we'll see when we kind of get in here. It's kind of a little hard to see until you do thin it out. But we'll fix anything that's growing, straight down, straight up, that's kind of not in the new leader position area. And stuff that just doesn't look good. Like I said, there's definitely some cleanup I want to do on some branch selection. But first I want to just thin things out a bit and get it to the point where I can readily see what we're dealing with. So yeah, I brought it a little closer here and we can kind of look. I'm just looking at from the front. This is the front. You can see I sort of have some parallel branches, but the one in the back is kind of hidden. So I'm not so concerned about that. I don't think it looks bad. I definitely have, let me just adjust it here so we can see it a little better. I definitely have some stuff near the left top here where I sort of have three, branches coming out. I've got some that are kind of going straight back. So I'm going to clean that out. I just have to decide, how I want to deal with this. I think for a start, I'm going to take this off because it's just sort of distracting. I think I'm going to take that off. I'm trying to decide because I've got a few options here, but yeah, that's better. I mean, it's sort of more rounded, and it was kind of like jutting out to the left there. And then, frequently when you do that, you immediately see a bunch of other stuff around it you can clear out. I'm going to reduce this down. Like I said, you want to hit the top pretty hard because it will grow back a lot. You can see I've got, let me just clean some of this up. I've still got some problems in here because I've got this branch off to the right, but let me just go get some lower hanging fruit and reduce this back. And, this is, I don't know, if you've watched my videos, you've probably seen this a lot. I'll kind of simplify, and then that allows you to see other things and other problems and some space and sparsity you might want to create for new growth. And so hit that and then come back. And, I found when I get into a mood of just clipping, I don't get too hung up on the decision and I just do what I know I should do. Um, so I don't know, try that. Maybe that'll work for you. Sometimes you don't want to overthink it, like your brain knows if it doesn't look good. And so why uh, torture yourself? So I'm just kind of thinning out the leaves here because I do want to make sure lots of light can get in here. And just basically just opening it up, right? So that it's just not, doesn't look like a bush. I want to have see some foliage in there and kind of open it up and see the individual branches and some leaves. Thinking about these lower leaves here. Initially I was thinking I might use them, but I think they're too low and they're going to come out way too horizontal, so I don't know if that's going to make the cut. Let me just keep simplifying. I've got a lot of clutter in here and leaves that are just kind of gumming up the works, so I'm going to really take it back. And, like I said, you can see I'm getting down to just a single set of leaves, which, especially if you have a lot of branches and whatnot, like this tree does, I think that's usually a pretty good way to do it. I always find if I don't go back that hard, um, I usually regret it because you just get this straight section that's kind of uninteresting and doesn't really add much character to the tree. And plus, like, I mean, as you'll see here, it allows you to see the problems that you should fix much more readily. Yeah, so I want everything to come kind of up and out, but not straight up, kind of out from the center of the tree and kind of fanning outward and kind of flowing up, much like, like a tree grows. So branches that aren't doing that, I just cut them back. Leaves that aren't doing that, I cut them back. If there's stuff growing to the inside, cut it back. Because in nature, none of those branches will survive. So, we don't want to emulate that in our trees. Makes sense to just get rid of it. And now, I'm really starting to see the structure of the tree. And I definitely see some things I want to fix. I'm going to take this off because, I just decided any branches that would come there too low. And here I've got 1 to 3. So let me think about how I want to fix that. It helps to look at it from a few angles, and I think what I'm going to do is take the fat one out, which is what I normally do. I find if you go for the finer growth, right, usually just looks, uh, better. You get more taper, and yeah, I don't know. Usually, to me, the weaker growth, as long as it's healthy, is almost my default decision, And especially in this case, we had 1 to 3 and I have this strong one in the middle and it's just sort of a side branch. So yeah, that looks a lot better. I can clearly see both branches now. And I'm looking at this here. I mentioned this before and I see I've got this, it's kind of hard to see, but I've got this bit off to the right and this fat bit kind of going straight up, which has gotten a little thick there. And I think I'm just going to take it off, like I haven't quoted John Knock in a while, but if you have a problem, just get rid of it. And if you still have a problem, well, then you've got a problem. So I think I just got rid of a problem, and that's much better. I've got better taper, got some more interest at the top, and yeah, so we'll just continue going around here and doing some branch fine tuning. Yeah, I think we're getting kind of close. I mean, I definitely want to do a bit more thinning here. But some of the primary problems I saw with the branches kind of going from 1 to 3 um, definitely helps to get rid of that. Especially like this tree is at the right time where if I don't fix that, I'm really going to start getting some swelling that is going to cause me much bigger problems further down the line and I have to take more drastic action. So it definitely makes sense to take care of that early on. So, thought for the day here as I'm cleaning up. In a previous life, I used to do a lot of writing. And what I always found is, it's tough to throw away something you've written, but it's almost always the right decision. And I think our trees are the same way. You want to strive to simplify, reduce branches, get rid of duplicate branches. Editing, I guess, is what I'd call it. You really want to do lots of editing because it allows you to expose the real nature of the tree. Much like your writing, right? If you have a bunch of stuff in there you don't need, it just serves to confuse. And let's take a final look here. You can see it's really starting to look like a tree. I've got some branches here and um, I'm getting some bark, I'm really happy about this and looking forward to the development of this tree in the future with further editing, obviously. And I think what we've done today is we take our victory lap has really helped move this tree forward. And I can put it back on my indoor bench and we'll let it grow. You can see this is a bit straight, but I'm not going to worry about it for now. We may cut that back at some point, and I don't need this inside growth, and see what we get. But with that, I want to thank you for spending time with me, and I look forward to seeing you all again very, very soon here on the channel.